Hi everyone, it's Kate. Welcome back to my channel. And today I had a really interesting day in terms of my relationships. We discussed our fears and our past experiences and shared ideas of and um, life hacks of overcoming past experiences, and it was quite interesting to listen to his story and to share my own story and my own views. So I will share my opinion about how to overcome traumatic experiences in the best way, in my opinion. So for me, the solution is the art of small steps and commitment to the dream life that I have inside. So once I made a decision that my dream life looks like this, like X, for example, yeah. I do not demand from people to fit in the image, but I do look and analyze if I feel the way I want to feel with with those people, if I see the perspective of moving into the direction that I want to be um, in terms of my dream life with that person. And um, keeping the idea in my head and in my heart helps me to lighthouse. It guides me, but it doesn't mean that I know how I will get there. And sometimes not we demand from some people to be the one and force basically each other to be in the relationships, and I've learned the lesson that it's not the best idea. What I mean is, like, because I have an idea of certain lifestyle for family, and I meet some person and they do not quite match the lifestyle I want to have, and I force them to change, or I tell them that they can change and it will be better for them and all of that. It's me basically trying to feed them into my image of life that I want to have. Instead of that, I start to observe more and to ask myself every day. We communicate during the day. Where was I happy with that person? Did he bring me emotions I want to have for the rest of my life during the day? And I do that almost every day. Like, I analyze and ask myself, was it good today? Do I want to spend the rest of my life like this? And it helps me to keep me in the reality, keep me grounded, and still have my dream life as my guidance, my idea of the dream life. So it's like a combination of the idea that I want to have in my life, that I want to make real. At the same time, I work with reality, I work with real person, I ask questions, I um, check my feelings. How do I feel about this and that? I share my thoughts with this person. So it's like, for me, it's very uh, like thorough work, and um, it worth it. I don't know, I'm not um, at my dream life point yet, but I'm on the way, and I know that I'm not halfway. I'm not 50% in, I am 100% in, and I'm fully committed. And time will show. So not to be heartbroken, not to be disappointed in life, or start thinking that I'm not good enough for that life, or there's nobody who can provide me with the same level of commitment that I want to, that I am expressing. The art of small steps helped me a lot. So every day we make a choice to stay with person or not. Every day we make a decision if I want to continue this or not. So not to promise big things, not to build castles in the air. The best way in my case is take small steps and see if it's okay. Because when you're making small steps, it's easier to manage the situation. It's like moving in the car. When you have a lot of different crossroads and you both driving the car like next to each other, yes, you're driving your cars next to each other. If you start speeding, you can miss the crossroad that you need to turn into. Or if you go with reasonable speed, it's easier to manage the relationships. So at the same time, you still both want to achieve the same thing. I think these things can be really obvious, but when it comes to practice and small details, like we all have past and it can kick in at any point. I have my access, he has his access, and the message, or just simple like circumstances of meeting, or something related to personal time spending or goals or a job or whatever. And then when situations like that are happening, it's important to remember the theory of small steps and the goal, and check in with the feelings and apply it into everyday life in small steps. I think this is the best way to do things, in my case at least. Because before that, I've been in different relationships. Some people were super cold and not emotional. Some people were too emotional for me and too fast, and they wanted everything at one time. Some people were like just like turtles, moving really slowly. Some people were with ambitions, some not. So it was different all the time. So I've tried different things, and I've realized that small steps, no drama. Drama is something that you have to cancel. Honestly, we are surrounded by dramatic scenarios in movies, in music, poetry, books, everywhere, dramatic scenarios. How on earth people can build normal relationships when we are surrounded, and we continue to surround ourselves with scenarios of dramatic, over-exaggerated relationships? You have to cancel it from your life. You have to block it from yourself. Read books about normal, supportive, loving and caring relationships. Listen to music about cool relationships, amazing relationships you want to have. You want to have amazing relationships, but you listen to sad songs? How on earth you will you will put yourself on track to move into direction of amazing relationships? That's the obvious thing that we do not pay attention often. that we surround ourselves with trash of other people, trashy scenarios of relationships where it's teenage attitude or drama or like never ending story of uh, abusing each other, whatever. So these relationships are not something that you want to have. So why do you put yourself in an environment where you constantly listen, watch, hear, read about this kind of relationships? This seems so obvious, but we do not filter that. So imagine you want to have caring, supportive, loving, amazing relationships that will give you a feeling of that you finally happy. But at the same time, you listen into the songs when he is like suffering from her behavior, or she is dealing with him cheating all the time or whatever, or constantly spend time at work. So it's what we do every day. We surround ourselves. It's like learning language. If you surround yourself with people who speak, I don't know, Spanish, eventually you will start speaking Spanish at some point, because you will hear it all the time. The same thing with the relationship scenarios. If you surround yourself with dramatic scenarios, you will get only dramatic scenarios. But if you surround yourself with scenarios that are actually healthy and cool and amazing, the one that you want to have, the miracle will happen, and you will see that at some point on the way you will find yourself in the healthy, supportive, cool relationships you wanted to have. So the biggest advice that I can give to everyone, like at some point I stopped listening to music about drama and all of that shit. I stopped watching movies about that, or I filter them really well. When I see this dramatic scenario, when in the end of the day they were not happy and they were not able to stay with each other or whatever, I'm like, okay, seen this before, not real, not interesting, fuck off. Yeah, sorry, I'm being emotional because it's so obvious, but we're still doing this, and millions and millions of any currency is made on us putting ourselves intentionally or not through that shit. It's just insane, just a vicious cycle. We complain about things like we don't have real relationships, normal, cool relationships. At the same time, we watch movie, listen to music, read books about trashy relationships, pay money for that, and then complain again. It's like, don't you want to stop it? Like, start at least from cutting off this shit from your life, and you will be surprised. Miracle is actually, it was all the time, but you were not paying attention to it. So yeah, this is it for today. It's more about relationships, not about my work. My work is still in progress. Oh yeah, the main thing about my work, I got my first booking for taking a dog for 4 days, 5 days. So yeah, success is coming. Thank you everyone for your time and attention, and see you tomorrow.